Hey, welcome to 100 Mile Drive, a channel where I teach you to buy the right car. And guys, today I have a 2024 Tesla Model Y base or rear-wheel drive. This is the least expensive Tesla Model Y you can buy today because it still qualifies for $7,500 federal rebate, bringing the total price down to around $35,000 plus your local state incentives. And today I want to answer two biggest questions on this channel. Is this base Model Y is all you really need and you should go ahead and save some money, or spend extra $5,000 and get a Model Y long range all-wheel drive model? And question number two, should you wait for the Model Y Juniper refresh that's coming hopefully this year, or should you ignore all of that and get this car? All coming in this video. If this is the first time you watch 100 Mile Drive, well, this is the channel where I say before you buy your next Tesla Model Y or any other car, do not settle for a 5-minute test drive around the dealership block. In case of Tesla, around the mall. Instead, rent a similar car from places like Turo and drive it for at least 100 miles on city streets, highway, and twisty roads to be able to answer the biggest question I'm answering with this channel: how does it feel to drive? So first, I'm going to quickly talk about its build quality of the exterior and interior for the 2024 model, see if it's any different. Then I'm going to drive it in the city to check out its acceleration, its comfort, meaning its suspension, and even its acoustics inside the car. Then I'm going to go on the highway and check out again its comfort for long journeys, and talk about its sound insulation, and most importantly, mid-range power. This is the slowest Tesla Model Y. And then I'm gonna take you to the twisty roads and check out its balance, check out its performance, and overall fun factor. Is this even a fun Tesla Model Y to drive? And at the end of the video, I'll give you my final verdict. First, let's quickly look at the exterior of 2024 Tesla Model Y. You can still buy this car, like I said, today, right now, before the Model Y Juniper comes out. Now, this Model Y comes with upgraded 20-inch wheels. This $2,000 option. The size is 255/40 front and rear. I'm gonna discuss them on a twisty road specifically, especially their traction. I'll really wanna talk about them. Now, overall, as far as build quality, let's see. There's a little misalignment here, right? This panel is a little higher than this one compared to the other side. But let's say it's not bad, right? The earlier 2018, 2020 models were really misaligned and bigger panel gaps. This one doesn't have any of that, just the minor misalignments like this one as well. This panel is a little higher raised than this one, but the panel gap itself is fine and all here. Kind of look through the entire car. There's nothing really I want to show you that will excite you, I guess, where you can say, oh, this is really bad. It's okay, it's not bad. So if I'm picking up this car today, I'll go ahead and sign off on it. One thing I like about Model Y is the trunk size. Let me just open this for you. It's right here. I'm sure you've seen it. It's very deep, so a lot of people will get Model Y just because of the, spacious storage spaces here. I don't know what this cover is all about. The owner has it here. It doesn't really fit in here, but I'm not touching this. So, like I said, the build quality is not bad, and I like this optional 20-inch wheels. And now let's get on the inside. All right, let's do a quick touch base on the interior quality of this Tesla Model Y. This is again before the Juniper comes out. I have already reviewed Tesla Model 3 and talked about the interior quality. I kind of liked it, at least most of it. Now this one does look kind of cheap, but at least this materials are nicely molded. Nothing creaks or rattles. I already spent like a day with this car. This is your kind of Alcantara here. So even if we, hit all these pieces, they're not bad. Like I said, nothing creaks or rattles. Your typical steering wheels. These are soft touch materials. I like this quality of this piece. Your kind of wood piece, your plastic. Your center console. It doesn't look upscale, but it is what it is. It looks pretty fine. Again, nothing creaks or rattles here. And this car only had 500 miles, like I said, when I picked it up. So if you're buying this today, this is quality okay. It's definitely improved over 2018 and 2020 models. But if you're getting Model Y Juniper, then expect there's going to be a lot of changes in terms of the interior quality. All right, let's go ahead and drive it. And now I'm going to drive Tesla Model Y base in the city. So I'm going to controls. I'm going to put it in standard and comfort steering. We're going to talk about those. There are no cars behind me. Let's go. All right, let's go. Now, one thing I want to talk about immediately is acceleration in this Tesla Model Y base. Like, I was curious, It has 0 to 60 claims, 6.6 seconds. Like, is it slow? Is it fast? Is it okay? And I'm here to say that it's pretty decent. Like, it's not bad. It actually feels faster than 6.6. So that's a good thing. So you're not compromising, right? If you think this is gonna be like a kind of on the slower side, not quite, because it's electric car and torque delivered quickly, it doesn't feel that slow. So coming to the stop, I'm gonna stop and then quickly check acceleration. Let's go. All right. Yeah, it's not bad. It builds that power kind of on like a slowly, right? Initially, in dual motor cars, they kind of jump immediately. With this rear wheel models, including the Model 3, power delivery is very linear, and especially for Model Y, it's even more linear. But now let's say I'm driving normally and I floor it, it picks up pretty well. That instant torque is pretty good. Now let's brake. All right, brakes are pretty good. Brake pedal itself is pretty soft, and it gives you that confidence, so it stops pretty well. All right, let's accelerate again. So yeah, it gives you that pretty good, comfortable acceleration, comfortable braking. So you won't feel like you are really lacking, right? Unless you really want more power, that's where you'll be craving, you know, for that Model Y long range or a performance model. Now let's next talk about steering. Steering in the Model Y is on the firmer side, and I said that when I was reviewing the Model Y long range. Make sure to watch that video. That's the video that's watched the highest on my channel. It got more than 66,000 views on my kind of small channel still, where I talk about Model Y long range. All right, let's accelerate one more time. Yeah, builds power gradually, but it's good. It's decent. Now, as far as steering, like I said, on the heavier side, even in comfort steering, it's still kind of on the heavier side. For me, it's like, okay, it's good. But for some ladies, they might find it a little bit heavy. And of course, in sport mode, it's even heavier. But that's where it's more responsive, more pointy on the twisty roads. That's where I'm gonna take this car next. So steering is okay. Just for this type of a car, like I said, might be a little heavy. Feels even a little bit heavier than the Model 3 steering. Next, let's talk about comfort in this car. Now, suspension in this car also on the firmer side, but it has pretty okay damping. It does not feel premium though. Why it doesn't feel premium? Well, because of its acoustics in this car. And let me now take you to my favorite Tampa road, where I'm driving on the bumpy roads, where I'm gonna discuss suspension and acoustics. And now driving Model Y based on the bumpy roads, where I'm hitting a lot of imperfections. And this is a good place to drive this car because I can discuss its damping, right? How comfortable it is on these bumpy roads. It is fairly comfortable, although I wish suspension had a little bit more smoothness to the way it soaks the bumps. Feels a little harsher than I wanted it to. I think for this type of a car, especially knowing the kind of people gonna drive it who are not car enthusiasts, I think they could totally soften it a little bit, the impact with the road, right? It does feel a little bit bumpy. Now, the other part of it is acoustics in this car. It feels like I'm driving in a fish tank, like in some type of aquarium, because I already mentioned this in the Tesla Model Y dual motor. All the things I hit on the road, all the imperfections, they resound in the cabin. And there's even a little echo, like when you talk, there's a little echo, like I'm in a theater or something. I don't know if it's by design or is it just a little flaw, I would say. To me, it looks like a little flaw more than design. And when you hit all these imperfections on the road, all that transferred into the cabin. So part of the reason why hitting little imperfections on the road doesn't feel good is because of this poor acoustics in this car. So I'm really hoping in the Model Y Juniper they address this issue of providing better cabin insulation so that all this sound from all the things on the road gets resolved in the bottom portion of the car. That's what's going to add to premiumness of this car. The way it is right now, it does not feel premium. Like Model 3, believe it or not, does feel premium, especially the new one. It is more refined. it definitely looks like on par with the BMW 3 Series. The Model Y does not. Model Y feels to me, it's just like a basic car. Like I need a crossover, I need an EV for whatever reason, right? I want to go with the EV, and boom, I'm just buying this car because I just need a basic EV. There is nothing premium about the Model Y, and I said this before and I'm saying it right now. One thing about the Model Y performance, that car feels a little bit better, maybe because of the different suspension setup, different kind of tires and wheels. It is firmer, but somehow the acoustics is better in that car. But again, that's probably due to suspension and tire combo, transferring all the impact from the road a little bit different than this base cars. So I hope that's clear. Let me know what you think if you have a Model Y. To me, it's a downer, to be honest with you, because I expect it to be a little bit more premium, even though the price dictates that this is not a premium car anymore, right? That they really came down in the price to like Toyota hybrid, Honda CR-V hybrid level. But knowing what they could do in the Model 3, I expect them, at least in the Model Y Juniper, to improve on all these things. Now, as far as driving it in day-to-day life, it's a very easy car to live with, a very easy car. You don't even need to put it in chill mode because it's already kind of, chilling. Easy to maneuver, steering is very pointy, pretty good soft brakes, very soft, good pedal. Again, I wish I could adjust the regen level, right, to where I could let go of the accelerator and then let it coast, at least adjust the strength. All other automakers give that option, but Tesla had it before, but they removed it. Other than that, this is a pretty decent car for day-to-day commute, day-to-day driving, day-to-day running errands. Now let me take it to the highway. I'm about to merge the highway, and there's a nice spot here to experience more of these bumpy roads. And like I said, doesn't feel good, when you go over all these little joints. And it's not even really like big potholes, it's just these imperfections that you get on LA roads, and you hear it in your ears, like all that sound just comes into your ears, and that's not a pleasant experience to see this here. All right, and stop and let's go. Let's floor it to see how it merges the highway. It's good, it feels good. One thing, there are no shifting gears, so it just jumps in pretty nicely, very linear power, and it's pretty good. So for most people, this will work fine. I mean, let's face it, this car has still 295 horsepower. That's pretty good, right? So the first thing, let's talk about the sound insulation here on the highway. Now on the highway, things are a little bit better because the roads are smoother for the most part, unless you're driving on 405 freeway. So you don't hear much other cars. What you hear is some road noise. Again, same issue. Whatever the noise it picks up from the road, that kind of gets transferred into the cabin. So it's fine for the most part, but I want them to improve, right? The Model Y Juniper, I hope they improve this part and it will be even better. So this car, on your long trips, of course, you have your autopilot that you can set. This is the best thing I like about Tesla. It's one of the reasons why you want to buy Tesla when you're commuting, to get this load off you, right? If you're tired, this and that. Of course, you don't want to completely rely on this, but it's just a good feature that assists you. The other thing, so it's very comfy on the highway. The seats are pretty comfortable. These are older seats, right? The new Model 3 seats were comfortable as well. Plus, they are ventilated. And I talked about this ventilation, the cooling, right, that they provide. It's really, really good. Even better than I experienced in the Mercedes and the BMW iX. So make sure to check out the Model 3 video as well. So let me quickly see my meter for the sound insulation here. Oh, actually, let's go a little faster, 65, right? It's about 64. It's pretty average for the class. But I can tell you, my BMW X3 has better sound insulation, for sure. So like I said, I hope they improve. The other thing, the mid-range power, let's see, is it easy to overtake other cars in the freeway? Like, do we have enough power? So let's just, or let's go from here. Let's say Florida now. Yeah, you know, doesn't build power as fast as the Model Y Long Range, but once it gets going, then you feel that power. So it's decent. It doesn't scream like I want a lot more power. All right, let's do it again. Let's say go a little faster here. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're gonna be totally fine. Also, because this is an electric car, that puts all the torque instantly. So you can definitely drive, and it's pretty stable. It's pretty, you know, safe, confident car to drive on your freeway. Absolutely fine. In your left lane, no problem. I can even put up autopilot here, and it does it pretty confidently. You know, I myself not, you know, feeling confident to let the car do this for me, but it does it. It does it pretty well. You know, it steers in the lane and it stays in the middle. One thing I like about Tesla, it doesn't wander around in the lane for the autopilot. It stays in the middle, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so is it any different than the 2023 model? No, everything is exactly the same like it is in the dual motor. I don't see anything different for the base car as well. And power is sufficient. If you're not after a lot of power, then this will be enough for you. Now, let me go ahead and take it to the twisty roads. By the way, one thing I found out, when it wants you to take the steering wheel, right? You don't need to shake it. It's enough just to scroll a wheel here on your steering, and that will do it. I know I don't have a Tesla, I'm not the owner, but I got pretty excited that you don't have to like move your steering wheel just to, you know, re-engage the autopilot thing. And now driving Tesla Model Y base on the twisty road. Let's go. Let me actually put to sport steering mode so it gets a little heavier, so it's a little more pointy. And let's see how this car does it. I already drove it here a few times. And by the way, if this is the first time you're watching me driving cars on the twisty roads, that's part of my dynamic drive. I do this because this is exactly the place where you get to see what the car is made of. This is where you get to see the chassis, most importantly chassis, how it behaves, you know, acceleration, basically brakes, all these things you only can see really on the twisty roads. First corner in. So between the Model Y Long Range and Model Y base, there's really not much difference, right? Unless we really go fast, and you'll have acceleration advantage of the Model Y Long Range, but otherwise it's exact same chassis. The only difference I see between the car I rented previously and this one is tires. This has better grippier tires and wider 255s, so I like the contact with the road as they keep this car really well in place. It takes corners really nicely. Of course, we don't want to go like really fast, but even at like a mid-range speed, you can have fun with this car. So yes, there is somewhat fun factor in this Model Y, and of course it is not as much as the Model 3, because Model 3 is really a lot more fun. But otherwise, just spending time on the twisty roads, I can tell you it is a safe car. If somebody brakes in front of me, I do have a chance to overtake. Part of it because of the really quick steering. It's a very pointy quick steering, so it'll react very quickly, and then the chassis will behave pretty predictable. Now also in electric cars, you get to see the low center of gravity, right? Like this car handles way different than, let's say, a BMW X3. Now gasoline cars don't have this feel of center of gravity. They only give you the sense of, you know, how the suspension behaves overall. But here, all of that, plus you get the battery that pulling you down and trying to keep the car more planted. So it's a little bit different feel. Not as much feel for enthusiasts, because as enthusiasts, this car is heavy, and you know, I want a lighter car. But that low center of gravity does provide that confidence that you will like overall. But in Model 3, it feels really good. In Model Y, it does feel a bit like heavier, and it's a taller platform. So when you actually go in the corner, the movement is not as fluent as in Model 3. Model 3 is a very quick movement. In Model Y, it's like the lower portion of the car goes first, and then the upper portion goes second, kind of, you know? So it's not as athletic as a Model 3, but still, it's pretty safe. You can definitely have fun on your back roads, and yeah, you can take this car for different occasions too. Like you can go to twisty roads and just simply have fun. There was a snake on the road. Absolutely. And it is, like I said, safe. Now brakes do feel a little bit, they're not delayed, but they don't feel as strong like on a twisty roads. Of course, your regen helps you, but for better brakes, of course, the Model Y Performance is the king, is what you want to get. So Model Y Performance does have also its place in this lineup. That's for those who want more aggressive car, more aggressive setup, better brakes, crispier, flatter handling. But would I get all that? No. I would just get Model 3. If this is what you want, I would get Model 3. This car is good for what it is, and brings me to the final point. Let me go ahead and summarize all this. So there you have it, guys. Tesla Model Y base. I just completed driving it on the city streets, highway, and twisty roads, and here are my thoughts. Now, I spent pretty much a whole day with this car, and I do feel a little bit tired. So I assume basically I am tired a little bit because it's a firmer car, and also when it hits all those imperfections on the road, like I already mentioned many times, you feel like you're sitting in a fish tank and everything kind of comes in your ears. So it's not like a premium feel, and it's something you can get tired from. This reminds me the older Hyundais and Kias. They kind of felt like this. But let's get back to my main original points, right? The first one, do you really need Tesla Model Y long range, or should you just get this base one? And the answer is get the base one and save $5,000. I think for most people, like most people, this is all you really need. It has pretty much everything you really need. It is a safe car. Maybe you want to upgrade your wheels and tires. I really like how these tires grip on the twisty roads. But otherwise, really, I have no cravings, for more power. Because it's not an athletic car. This is not even a Model 3. It's just a basic EV for your basic needs. So unless you live in a colder climate, or you have range anxiety, you want a little bit more range, then you could consider Model Y long range. But otherwise, I don't think you need it. Now, do you want to get this car, or should you wait for the Model Y Juniper? My answer is this. I would wait for Model Y Juniper and see how it comes out, but monitor this whole federal rebate situation, right? Unless your income is above that bracket, then you don't care. But I would totally wait for the Model Y Juniper just to see what it comes out as, because I like the changes they did in the Model 3 Highland. So I'm expecting the same things to be fixed here, and I hope they fix this whole issue with the sound insulation. And if the federal rebate is still there, then definitely I would get the Model Y Juniper. Except, of course, I hate the fact they removed the stocks. As cool as it is to push those buttons and the swipe on the thing for the, the gear selector, I still like the regular stocks. I think every car should have that. So let me know what you think. And if you want to watch another video where I reviewed Tesla Model Y long range, click right here. And actually, I made another video where I compare Model Y long range to Model Y performance. Click right here. So this way you have all the information you need to make the best decision. And I'll see you next time.